CRiiiME is a show where I, Rich Slaton, read a true story about lawbreakers.
And I, John Shefsky, make sure that Slaton does a good job because he fucks up a lot.
You're right, I do, and I cop to that all the time, but you never let me forget it, and a good relationship's about moving forward.
That's true, so let's move forward so I can correct you today.
By playing the music.
Fucking asshole.
Beat you.
CRiiiME
Is the show that starts now.
Like right now?
Oh, yeah, do your line.
Okay. Each week, Rich reads a real crime story. I don't know a word that rhymes with story.
And my homie John always has the hot riff. He really loves it when you send...
Don't send anything
them
to me.
him.
Don't you dare.
CRiiiMEpodcast@gmail.com.
Don't you send
Label
anything.
it John Shefsky. He loves them. Make sure the lighting's really good. Hey, criminals. Welcome back to the show.
What are you calling people?
I assume if you listen to this show that you're a criminal. That's my baseline assumption.
Our downloads have gone to your head. You're naming our fan group now.
No, they're no. I'm
Criminals?
saying what type of citizen they are, and most of them commit crimes. Hopefully, so they can be on the show one day.
Oh, that's your goal.
I want our listeners to end up being our subjects. That's
If you
the
commit a crime
entire-
now and it's big enough, in 10 years, if the podcast is still going and we're still alive and civilization is still running, you might be a subject of the show. Way to make the world a better place, Slaton. Cause
And also,
more criminals.
you know, on that same theme, since civilization might crumble, when that happens, you're going to really want to have C3 Risk and Insurance Services. Guys, as you know from this show, bad shit happens all the time, and you need coverage. And that coverage might be home, auto, life,
Friend
dick,
insurance. You need friend insurance when your friends are assholes.
In case your friend's a big bitch.
Yeah, that's right. You go to C3 Risk and you tell them, hey, my friend's an asshole. They'll reimburse you. And they'll give you a $25 gift certificate to Amazon. That's how
Go
much
to
they love us.
c3insurance.com, hit up our friend Joe Earl, who actually the other day told me to start giving out his cell phone number, which I'm going to give him one last chance to take that back before I start giving his cell phone number on our podcast.
Does he listen to the podcast? Does he know like the kind of people that are listening? Like you don't give out your cell phone on this podcast.
Yeah, well, he might need I gave out my number to too many people insurance. So hit him up. Also,
Tell him Shefsky sent you. He loves me.
Big shout out to one of our coolest listeners, Jacqueline, who was here. I got off stage in the OR the other night at the Comedy Store. And she came up to me. She was like, dude, are you Rich Slaton from CRiiiME? And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
I'm a celebrity. My name's Rich Slaton, and people know me.
A person knew me. So, hey, big ups, Jacqueline. Good to see you. And we're really excited that you're listening. So keep on sticking with us.
Pretty badass, Jacqueline. One day you'll see the real funny guy that's on this show, John Shefsky. You'll see him live, and that'll be
who's way funnier than John Shefsky? Is today's guest.
Go up.
You might know him as Devon from Big Mouth. You might have seen him on Comedy Central. Put your virtual hands together for Jak Knight.
Hey, I'm excited. This is exciting.
We have lots of energy.
This is good. You guys are pros. I just did a podcast earlier, and they were fucking garbage. So this is great.
Well, let's juxtapose it with
Well,
pros.
I'm glad that we're better than garbage.
Yeah.
That's the line for pro. Like, are you not garbage?
Yes.
But that is the line in podcasts. It's pretty much just one line. Like, are you not garbage?
Yeah.
Then you're pro. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. It's podcasting, right?
Sarah Jane
Michelle Parker.
Kahn.
I'm excited. And by the way, I'm going into this. I told Rich this Tuesday when he invited me to this wonderful podcast. I'm excited to do this because I watched Mindhunters and loved it.
Oh, yeah.
And now I think I'm a pro, and I'm only here to help.
Oh yeah, we're with you.
I'm only here to help.
We are very serious
Stay in
investigators.
tight, bro.
This is just
Yeah.
like Mindhunters.
Yeah.
We're very serious investigators.
Let's do
Sara
it.
Jane Kahn was born on February 15th, 1930 in Charleston, West Virginia.
She's a February baby.
February baby.
All right, the 15th.
Wait, Charleston?
Charleston, West Virginia, not North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Don't get too excited.
I
now.
thought I was starting off hot.
Don't worry, there's still a lot of black history in this Charleston.
Her father, Olaf, grew up
Yeah.
the son of German immigrants.
Oh, hell yeah. Old world style. Schnitzels. Let's go.
Olaf grew up in New Jersey and was an accomplished violinist. After injuring his hand in World War I, he settled in Charleston where he met Ruth, 10 years his junior, and also a violinist.
How old was she if she was 10 years his junior?
Well, by the time she turned 20, they were married with their first of 5 children.
Okay.
So she was actually a pretty normal marriage and childbirth
Yeah.
age
Yeah.
for 1930,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's just the 30s.
And
It
of
wasn't-
age.
Yeah.
She was of age.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
1830s.
Yeah.
Olaf took a job as a mechanical engineer making $10,000 a year, which was comparatively a solid 6-figure salary.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. So he can't play violin with his hand, but he can just make cars?
No, mechanical engineer isn't the guy who makes cars.
Okay.
Actually, making the car would probably be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, significantly.
Don't you
Mechanical
need-
engineer
yeah.
is like the guy who does the math to make the cars.
You know the digits you got to use and like the dexterity you got to have to play
Then you go to
violin.
college.
You have to use compasses. You have to do protractors. You have to do a lot of things. That's
That's
two
true.
hands.
Protractors, TI-86s,
Yes.
just all the big, all the important math tools that you
You
have.
just tape a wrench to your wrist. right? It's not like violin playing. You just get in there and start turning things.
That sounds like the worst fleshlight I've ever imagined.
Oh man, you went dirty right away.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. CRiiiME.
Ruth kept a spotless, orderly home. Her
She
children
better. She's gonna get the bad hand when he gets home. What is going on? Where's my beer and the carpet is a mess? Don't hit me with your bad violin hand. Oi! Wait, I don't know why I made her Jewish.
I mean, Ruth's a kind of Jewy name.
Oh, okay.
As long as we're going with...
Yeah, blame the story. Don't
definitely
blame me,
not Jews,
motherfucker.
but Ruth is... if we're going with Jewy names, Ruth is on there.
Ruth, okay.
Yeah. Ruth kept a spotless, orderly home, her children impeccably dressed in clothes she made herself.
Black turtlenecks for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are all dressed like Steve Jobs.
I was thinking of Mike Myers from Saturday Night Live when he did that German thing back in the day. Also Steve Jobs, which is my outfit for the day, too.
Sara Jane excelled in many ways. She was a straight-A student, a talented violinist like her parents. But she was, as people would later describe, quote, a little odd.
Here we
hear
go.
how she's odd, yes.
She isolated herself socially while at the same time demanded to be the center of attention.
She just did open mics.
Yeah.
She's a violinist, dude. That's
Yeah.
what you do. You isolate yourself and you go, check this shit out. Yeah. If you don't cry at the end, I didn't
That's your
kill.
violin
That's
impression?
my violin impression. Ready?
That's all the times. Jack's a regular at the opera and at the symphony.
Dude, if they give...
What's that one piece where they go woody woody woo woo woo? That's my shit.
I was like, just read the music. It's on the charts. You're like, I don't read that shit. I just ask the conductor, hey, when's the woo 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 part?
That shit hot.
That shit hot?
Can you please be quiet during the violin solo? It's not like I come to your job and knock the mop out of your hand. She showed particular skill. Oh, there we go. I always miss. I didn't do the. I didn't
I'm gonna
do
glue your
the thumb.
Like an abusive parent, I'm gonna glue your thumb to that fucking paper to train you.
At her 13th birthday party, attended mostly by children, bribed with the promise of cake,
Oh, that's awful.
sad.
So they weren't her real friend. They had to lie.
she first made everyone sit and listen to her perform on the violin.
That sounds.
She's that kid.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. She probably like when it's midnight. She's like, today's tomorrow now. Like she's that kid.
I'm gonna play the tomorrow song on my violin.
Yeah, it's like
Okay. I thought,
In high school, she took center stage in the drama club. She showed particular skill in disappearing into a role, earning major parts in nearly every production.
Okay.
But in the fall of 1946, 16-year-old Sara Jane left one morning for school and never showed up. Her parents launched a search party. When that didn't work, they called the police. 2 days went by with no sign of their daughter.
I'm sorry. I'm imagining the dad firing off a flare gun with his bad hand.
This is the only thing I can fire.
what's her name again?
Sarah
Sarah.
Jane.
Sarah. You look at the milk cartons; it says like missing, and it just has a black void on it. Well, she's a German violinist. This is what she looks like and feels like.
This is just a representation of her emotions. If you see someone with a dour mood,
Yeah,
probably my daughter.
yeah.
2 days went by with no sign of their daughter. Then on the third day, Sara Jane
They
returned.
put the missing thing on a sauerkraut container. But she's German, you see.
On the third day, Sara Jane returned, no worse for wear.
What's that mean?
She was fine.
Okay.
Returned in the same clothes, not dirty, not stinky, not beat up, not bloody.
Is this an alien abduction story?
Yes. Yeah, we've changed the top. The whole premise of this show is different now. This is called tinfoil crime from now on.
Unsolved crime stories.
She offered no explanation and refused to discuss her disappearance.
But she did explain through violin what happened.
Her mother explained it away as a temporary bout of amnesia.
Oh.
Okay.
So
You can just say that? It was temporary amnesia.
yeah, you just Breaking Bad. Anytime something goes wrong, you just use that excuse.
I've never tried that. I think I might.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I explained the first 4 episodes of the show. Well, I don't remember them. I wasn't here.
They're fucking good. I
They are.
listen to them. They live up to it.
She slipped back into her normal routine, but with an increased desire for independence. Sara Jane took a job on a paper route, announcing to the family that she wanted to have her own money. She refused to continue attending their Baptist church, declaring that she was now a Methodist.
Oh, I thought you were going to say atheist. She just went to another. What's the difference? Methodist, Baptist, fake stories?
Well, one has better music.
The one's got better music?
Yeah.
Yeah, by far.
Which one has better music?
Baptist, by far.
Yeah.
So she left.
Now,
it-
to be fair,
Wait.
this is like 1930s white Baptist.
Yeah. That's
so we
like
can't.
before the Nelly features.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about this religious situation here. To me, as a Jew, I'm just like, all right,
Methodists have better conversations. Baptists have better music.
It's both New Testament stuff, right? It's just Jesus.
Episcopalians have better whiskey. Like, we can just keep on going down and down.
Are you serious? Are you guys riffing with me?
No, dead ass.
Yeah,
I
had no
grew up in
idea.
Baptist church. It's a bunch of old black people fainting and then wonderful music.
So Baptist is the way to go.
The beat drops so hard that they drop to the floor.
Yeah.
Baptist is the way to go, is what you're saying.
If
Is that where the gospel music comes, like all the Willie
If
Nelson
you want,
covers?
dope
Kirk
music
Franklin.
and good hats, you go Baptist.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you go Baptist, you never go back
Almost had it.
Finish it strong.
Yeah.
to the way you came because you're Baptist now, and that's where you got to stay, bro. Go on with your story.
She graduated high school in 1947, enrolling in nursing school at the local hospital. She excelled, earning glowing reviews and top marks. But just before graduation, Sara Jane dropped out and joined the Women's Army Corps.
Hell yeah. Future is female.
Yeah.
Army style. Hairy armpits, hairy pussies. We don't need men. We'll raise these kids as a couple lesbian husbands.
All right, everyone, line
Time's
up.
in.
It's time for your hair check to make sure that you are properly adorned for this military. Madam, you need to adjust your tie and grow more pussy hair.
That's right. Your clit is at attention, sir. Ma'am, sir. Should they salute with the clit?
Her goal was to qualify for officers candidate school, which she did. But then two things happened that made that impossible.
What were those things, Slaton? Tell us.
First, she married Marine Staff Sergeant Wallace Anderson. The rules against fraternization preventing her candidacy.
I thought this was like a woman's. Oh, she just met him off campus?
No, I mean, she wasn't at a woman's. She's in the Women's Army Corps, but she's
Right.
still in the military.
Right.
So there's still dudes around.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you found somebody.
Yeah, she found somebody, but the rules against fraternization make it so that, like, based on rank and stuff like that, you can't both do some shit.
Really?
I don't know exactly
I
what
thought the
they
whole
are.
world functioned on nepotism, including the military. I didn't know that you could.
Military is like almost the exact opposite now. You
Really?
can't buy your way through anymore. And that's not the good old days where you can just buy yourself a general star.
Yeah, I'm a general. How much you got? I'm a captain. I'm the king.
But that was a minor problem compared to what the military described as a recurring series of fainting spells. The worst came in the spring of 1950, when Sara Jane joined a public tour of the White House. At the end of the tour, she walked away from the group across the White House lawn, where she collapsed. When she came to, she claimed to have no idea who or where she was.
But Mr. Clinton had already undone her blouse.
Since she wasn't carrying any ID, the Secret Service sent her to the hospital, where nurses made an odd discovery. Stuffed inside her dress was a folder filled with pictures of Sara Jane.
Wait, what? Wait, this is like a memento thing? She's got pictures of herself stored on her?
Super not creepy at all, bro.
Is this how she was missing for 3 days? She just passed out in a field somewhere?
Who knows what? No one knows what that
And what
3 days
what
is
type
all
of
about.
pictures are there? Like good
Just-
pictures or like titty pics?
They're all just in the mirror.
Jack's on the other end of the table right now, and he's just pumping lotion in his head. How big are these German
Yeah.
titties? Yeah. Could you see her veins? Yeah.
They're all mirror ass pics, but she has that like
my God.
1930
I forgot.
photograph, no
Where it's, like,
smile
just
face.
nothing.
Oh my
We're
God.
still like poking it out a little bit for the guy.
She just looks like those old farmers like, with the pitchfork.
The vitamin
But her-
D girls.
but her tits are popping.
Please, that sounds good. Those are the pics to send crime, please. German women from the 40s. Actually, that's kind of creepy if you're masturbating and you realize they're all probably dead.
I mean,
Yeah, what's wrong?
isn't that the best?
Isn't that weird?
Because then you don't feel bad about objectifying them anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, well, they're already dead. I can't be the patriarchy on these women.
That's true, but it's also just kind of weird to think like you're looking at a picture of someone and getting off to it, and there's worms.
You know, because
worms
I'm a
crawling through their
feminist, I
corpse.
only beat off to pictures of dead women.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's respectful.
I
right?
only beat off to pictures of trans women.
Yeah.
I only beat off trans women that don't know they're trans yet, and they're still men that sit next to me on this show named Rich Slaton.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's right.
This show's about friendship, guys.
As I jack him off under the table. Fap, 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 fap.
Papers ran photos of the mystery woman, who was soon claimed by her mother and husband. Her memory miraculously returned, but the FBI was suspicious. They said that she left her ID behind on purpose.
Oh, fuck. So she's up to something, maybe.
Who knows? It's up to something on this show? I don't believe you, sir.
Well, you know, we do have people that are up to something every couple episodes.
Soon after, Sara Jane Anderson left the military and divorced her husband. A few months later, she became Sara Jane Manning, marrying Air Force Captain Sid Manning. They packed up and moved to Tucson. By 1953, she and Sid had 2 children, but all was not well.
Can't these people just enjoy themselves?
Sara Jane hated the role of housewife. made even worse by the constant criticism from her perfectionist mother. Not only was Sara Jane not keeping a proper house, but Ruth noticed that her daughter seemed to take no joy in raising her children.
Wait, wasn't she in the military still?
Yeah, well, she's not in the military. She's out of the military. Her husband's in the military.
Oh, okay.
And they're living in like military tract homes in Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, so there's like I'm about to say, like, this all happened in Arizona. She's allowed to kill one person.
Easily.
Like, you can't just raise a family in Arizona and not want to put a bullet
You know that's
through
actually
someone's head.
Arizona state laws. You're allowed
you get one body.
Yeah.
just to keep yourself chill and relax.
You get one body, and we don't celebrate Martin Luther King Day or time zones.
All you had to say was track homes in Arizona. It's like, that does sound kind of depressing.
Yeah.
And this is back in the day when the air conditionings were not very strong either. So
Right.
that could really be miserable. But okay, so she doesn't have a gig right now, and her husband.
She has a gig. She's a wife and mother.
Yeah.
But she
that's
hates
that's
that.
a real job.
But she
She's not
hates
good
that.
at it.
I mean, yeah, she's going against God. You know, like we all get it.
That's not what Dog the Bounty Hunter would say. He'd say, go with God, right?
That's fair.
Right? Don't go against it.
The couple grew apart, and in 1954, he filed for divorce,
Peace, bitch.
citing that she was an extremely poor mother and wife. But he immediately regretted it, and they remarried a month later.
Aw.
He was reassigned, and the family moved to Los Angeles.
Hey,
LA.
That's all she wanted.
That's
Get that real life.
Yeah.
That's
there
right.
you
She'll
go.
be in the belly room tonight. She's doing a hot five. She got to bring six people to the audience.
You ever forget who you are?
Yeah. This is a picture of me. I keep it. She's one of those comics that wears their shirt with their own face on it.
Yeah.
This is me, yeah.
Follow me at LinkedIn.
She has to bring her people, so she just brings her children. Mm-hmm. Which I've seen, by the way.
And they all stand in a row, and then Haiti does a front flip over them.
Oh my god. There she gave birth to her third child, who was severely disabled. The baby never came home. Instead, she opted to have it institutionalized immediately.
Wow.
Jesus.
Right away, huh?
For Sara Jane, it was out of sight, out of mind, leaving her mother to check in on her castaway kid.
So why'd you even have kids in the first place? Just because her husband said you had to?
Because that's what you're supposed to do.
There's no plan B.
That's what God says is a woman's duty.
Okay, this is the
I'm
God
here.
argument
I'm here
that
to spread the
screws-
gospel.
This is what
Also,
screws everything
women
up.
duty.
Yeah.
You just like the women duty
Sometimes
part.
I do.
Women duty
That
part.
women duty part. He's into some dirty stuff. That women duty. That's a good website.
Womenduty.com?
Womenduty.com.
Yeah.
For especially Germans, right? So
They're
German
having a
shit
great time,
porn right
yeah.
there.
In the spring of 1955, Ruth flew out to help her daughter. She discovered a chaotic household with random mealtimes and no warmth. At the end of the visit, Ruth offered to take the kids back to Charleston for the summer to give her daughter some time off to rest and reorient the ship. Sarah immediately agreed.
She was just stoked. Yeah, get these kids the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I got bottle service this weekend. So if you sure, just take them. That's totally fine.
Then mommy be back, right?
The kids had a fantastic summer, returning that fall to find their mother pregnant and filing for divorce.
Oh, dude, she be taking them creamy pies.
Yeah, she needs to.
She just doesn't realize.
The most fertile German pussy there is.
But she hates having kids.
Yeah, she hates it, but just like
You ever 69, bitch? Huh? You ever have someone come on top of you?
She's got that talent, but doesn't have the love for the game.
Right. She's like Chris Paul.
But that's a sports reference.
All I want to do is sell car insurance.
Yeah, but you guys
I
keep
got
making
these
me
gifts.
Is Chris Paul a famous archery guy? Or
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
so good, yeah.
exactly. He's one of the best.
Right under Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
She spent about a year as a single mother with 3 kids in L.A. before calling home to say that she and the kids were coming to Charleston for an extended visit. When her brother arrived at the airport to pick them up,
The kids were dead in the trunk.
he was shocked when the kids, 4, 3, and 9 months, exited the plane without their mother.
Oh, she tricked him.
10 weeks passed before Sara Jane even called collect to tell them that she would be there soon.
Really?
A few weeks went by before another call, and then another. Within 3 months, they stopped entirely.
That's someone that shouldn't be having kids.
Well, she should have just gave them away a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
There was no child services back then?
No, things were a little
No,
different.
child services was just go to a church and like leave it on the doorstep.
And then your kid will be molested by anybody that runs that place.
Which is
Yeah.
what we're going. Which is, I mean, what the whole purpose of the system is.
I mean,
right?
I'd rather be molested than live in an untidy home.
Yeah, that makes.
That makes one of us. I don't know. I'll molest myself, but you know, you can have this house a mess. I'll
How
clean
do
my
you
room.
molest yourself?
Is that the choice you get?
Yeah, you only can either live in an untidy home with irregular meal times and it's kind of cold.
Yeah.
Or you get molested.
That's a very that's why
That's the
Mrs.
50s.
Slaton and I always keep at least 7 dirty dishes in our sink, so everyone knows that we're a safe space for
Yeah,
children.
come on in.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Come, here's some Halloween candy.
Here's some plastic cups.
Look, we haven't swept in months, so your kids will be
Nobody's
great.
gonna fuck you here. This place is a mess.
I wouldn't take it out in this filth. After
Get a
dropping
candy wrapper stuck to it or something like that. A half-eaten Three Musketeers stuck to my balls.
After dropping an infant and 2 toddlers off at LAX, Sara Jane disappeared into Los Angeles. She studied accounting at UCLA under a fake identity, and by the early 60s landed a job as a bookkeeper at RKO Studios, one of the big 5 from Hollywood's golden age.
Yeah.
There she met John Alberg, a sound engineer with 10 Oscar nominations for
Wow.
films like Citizen Kane and It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, she's really getting in on the scene.
Despite the fact that he was 2 years older than her father, Sara Jane was determined to make him
Suck
hers.
his dick and get ahead in this industry. Am I right? Did I jump ahead in the story by saying that? I'm
Hey.
sorry, guys.
She planned and practiced techniques to hook him, from everything to scheduling when she would allow a first kiss, to her method of looking down and then glancing up in an alluring and flirty manner.
Oh my god, I can only imagine just a.
Like she practiced that in the mirror. Like,
Is she really pretty?
she was not ugly at the time.
It's not really pretty, but
Yeah, but you have to
A
remember.
pilot, a general, a movie producer. She's not ugly.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's out here pulling. How did she even get to this party?
She's thick.
Oh,
She's
good.
probably thick. 2 C's, no K.
that's what's up. Oh, dude, yeah, you went straight south side on that
Yes,
one.
that
I see that.
I believe in her, and I believe her thick ass.
Brother
yams.
Lynch Hun, sick maid.
Okay, listen. Okay, stop trying to assimilate into black culture, Slaton. You're
Dude,
very
I have Return to the Baby Killer on my phone right now. If you want to check my Brother Lynch Hung 24 Garden Block double C's credentials, motherfucker.
I didn't know what he just said.
That's how gangster that shit was.
You just out-blacked our friend here who's black. Okay.
I totally remembered I'm from Seattle after that.
Like, look, I wear red pants and I like a good latte,
Yeah.
chai mostly.
Yeah.
Can you please get this crazy cracker away from me?
I got a blonde espresso. I'm living my best life.
Well, a lot of people were getting a blonde espresso in this story, huh? This German chick.
When he popped the question, she told him, quote, "You know, one of the things we have in common is that neither of us has any family."
Wow.
Wow.
That's not suspicious.
Not at all.
She's just trying to start over every time.
Yeah.
In June of 1965, Sara Jane Con Anderson Manning became Sara Jane Alberg.
Oh, yeah.
1 month later, she was pregnant.
Oh, my God. Lady.
So she did the only thing that made sense
She went on a roller coaster and got rid of that shit.
and ditched her new husband to move to San Francisco.
Oh.
18 months later, Sara Jane Con Anderson Manning Alberg became Sara Jane Carmel, marrying Willard, a recently divorced doctor.
Damn, doctor? Good for her.
She is just going around the top circles, and she's finding dick that can support, like,
There is
does she have
something-
a spending habit? Like, what is she doing? Slaton,
Amber Rose has a fat head of her in her room.
Dude, yeah, this like if you actually, I didn't even think about it until you guys put it out there. If you check this chick's marriage resume,
It's great.
she's just going bam, bam, bam,
Perfect.
bam up
Yeah.
the line.
what's she doing with it? Is she making money off of this? Is she traveling the world? Is she buying fancy cars? Like,
Chesky, we've got pages left.
I know, but I'm
You're gonna
asking. I
find
got
out.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to answer them
Okay.
with these pages, bruh.
All right.
I'm pretty happy for her.
I know. She's
Yeah.
on that come up.
Yeah, all she's done is fucked over like 6 kids.
Doesn't matter.
You guys are happy? Oh, it does matter.
Get rich or die trying.
Just, there you go.
You do not abandon your children. That's if there's any message from this episode, you do not abandon your children.
She settled into an upper middle class life in the Bay Area suburb of Danville.
You feel stupid
Boring.
now, huh?
Yeah.
You feel stupid?
I gotta tell you, upper middle class, I'm not impressed. I was from regular middle class. Upper middle class isn't that much better. So you have a new MacBook Pro every year. Big five. Tell me when you got a yacht and you never have to work another day in your life and you can buy a mountain.
Where she spent most of her days planning a home remodel and socializing at the most prestigious country club in the East Bay.
Okay.
So she's kind of doing what you just said, but landlocked.
I guess it's kind of boring. I'm just thinking like that show, that HBO show, Big Little Lies. It's like, yeah, you have a big house, but you're unhappy, and like you just.
But you also get to be Zoe Kravitz.
Good call.
Like, think about that. Just being Zoe Kravitz.
You get to be Zoe Kravitz. Is
Yeah.
that Lenny Kravitz's daughter?
We are learning a lot about Jak Knight today. Jack, so how long have you wanted to be a woman with a weird, whimsical first
I
name?
love her so much. I want to be her. She looks like she smells like outside in a good way.
She's like,
That's very well put.
Yeah, like if pine cones were sexy.
Oh yeah, I think they are, and I think you're onto something that way.
That's why he has so many scars on his dick. He thinks pine cones are real sexy.
Well, it's because you've been putting it in the wrong direction. Those things are pokey if you.
That's true. It's like a Chinese finger trap. You can only go in one way. You can't come back out the
Yeah,
other.
you gotta call the cops to break out of
Oof,
that.
no good.
Whee.
Again, she struggled to fit in. While she looked like the other ladies at the club, she rubbed them the wrong way with her name-dropping, desire to be the center of attention, and her growing political activism.
Oh God, she just alienates herself every chance she gets.
She annoyed the entire neighborhood to the point that the other moms cut her out of playgroups, the babysitting pool, and any other social gatherings. So Sara Jane began to hire teenage girls to babysit so she could go out with her husband.
I thought you were going to say hire them to hang out with.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was gonna.
So what do you want to talk about?
Oh man, I don't know how. Like, what do you? You got me for another half hour. So why don't you just come up with a topic? And
Have you ever left your children and forget about it?
Wow, no, I haven't. But
It's a real rule.
Did
Wow.
you leave your children? What the hell's the matter with you?
dude, seriously.
You're fired.
What? Fine. Where my thumb? I forgot the thumb.
I'm going to staple your thumb to that fucking paper.
Oh, the babysitting soon ended when she gained a reputation for failing to pay.
Ugh.
She eventually enrolled her son in an expensive private school.
Wait, she's rich, she jacks all her money, and she's cheap with her help?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
fuck? This lady's a
How do you
bitch.
think the rich stay rich, bro? You gotta not pay people. Have you learned nothing from our president?
I've known some rich people that are actually really good tippers and grateful. They work hard for it, and they spread the wealth around. Yeah, unlike this lady in your story, who's given a bad name to all these chicks that leave their kids. Actually, they already have a bad name for doing it. Never mind.
She eventually enrolled her son in an expensive private school
But
that
didn't pay.
happened to offer 2-week stays at boarding facilities, perfect in case she felt like some time off.
Okay.
As the love of the 60s turned into the upheaval of the 70s,
This bitch got herpes.
Sara Jane saw the social changes and decided it was time for her to take part, which she did by filing for divorce.
Yeah, she wanted to go out and screw around.
At some point, the judge has to be like, "No, you don't get to get another divorce. You're in this one."
You
What
gotta-
is this? This is her fourth.
Let's see.
Doctor.
So there was
producer
doctor, producer,
General.
pilot.
In general.
Yeah, I think this is fourth.
Four
But Your
divorces.
Honor, I'm unhappy in these marriage.
Yeah, but I'm just tired of your bullshit, really.
Yeah.
It's just one
Just
more.
pick one.
It won't happen again. Does she have a German accent, or is she just talking
No,
regular?
she's from
American.
West Virginia.
But
Yeah.
her parents are German.
She probably has like a Appalachian accent.
What's an Appalachian accent?
Like
Your
super-
Honor, I ain't staying with none of these men. I don't
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I don't. They don't respect
Her
me.
dad is the son
They
of
don't know
German-
how to eat my cooter the right way. They don't please me. And I'm
Cooter is the
bored.
worst. Is that the worst?
Cooter sucks.
It's an Appalachian term, you fucking asshole. Travel the world and get some fucking words, bitch. I don't want to be married no more.
Dude, how hot would a chick have to be like, hey, will you eat my cooter? To like, what's the level where you say no because she
Dude,
said
if she had
cooter?
overalls on that just had a cutout part where her cooter is, I'd be like, hell yeah. I turn my hat backwards any
You turn
day.
your cowboy hat backwards to do nothing. It just does anything.
Oh, that's fucking great. That's the problem with cowboy hats. I gotta say, we find
They're not reversible.
You know what I hate about those things? You can't turn it backwards and look badass.
You can't join Limp Biscuit with a cowboy hat.
You need a regular trucker hat if you want to eat the cooter proper, boys.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Most California divorce settlements are simple due to the standing as a community property state, meaning that anything accrued during marriage is split in half. Paperwork usually runs about a dozen pages. Theirs took 201 because she fought him on everything, which proved to be a terrible move. Willard's attorneys did their research and discovered that she had never officially divorced her last husband.
Ooh.
The marriage was annulled. All she would get was half the proceeds from the upcoming sale of their house.
But she had a kid with this guy, too. So this guy.
No, she didn't have a kid with this guy. The kid is from the producer.
Okay.
So
The San Francisco guy and her didn't have a kid, so he doesn't have to grieve
Nope.
about losing the mother.
No,
he's
he
just
gives
like this.
no fucks.
He's just like, this chick's fucking crazy.
Yep.
I thought that she was just a hot woman. She seduced me. We got married, and she's moving on to the next dude.
Yeah.
But she's got kids marriages ago that are just,
Oh yeah, she's got kids all over the place.
I can't get over that. Just so you guys know, I'm gonna keep going back to
About her leaving her children?
She left her kids. I'm
Yeah.
still really bummed about that.
Despite being on her own, Sara Jane began to make regular trips to Berkeley to participate in civil rights and anti-war events.
Oh, so she's all
She's
right.
good at heart.
She's doing some important work
Yeah.
here. She's feeling the burn, as we say nowadays.
That's just from having so many different husbands.
Yeah,
that
she's
eventually,
feeling
like
the
some of
burn.
them are in the military. Like you don't know what they brought back from the war.
That's right. The herps,
So,
the terrible herps.
you seen about that new Florida monkey deadly herpes that they're talking about?
What?
It's called Florida Monkey Deadly.
Well, I mean,
FMD
I don't know if that's the name, but there's a news thing about there's a bunch of monkeys apparently in Florida that are carrying like a deadly strain of herpes that can like I don't know how it kills. I don't
And all these
if
Floridians
it kills
are
you
just
dick
fucking?
first or what.
Is it fucking? Are they fucking the monkeys or can the monkeys
I mean,
just
it's
bite
Florida.
you?
Obviously, they're fucking
Yeah.
the monkeys.
That's true. That's true.
Jeez.
I just think that we overestimate how much monkey fucking there is. There was an old Chappelle bit about that, and it really makes sense. You're like, I don't think anybody was fucking the monkey and then brought the disease over that way. It just doesn't make sense. No one fucks monkeys the way we talk about it. Like there's just so many people. If one guy fucked a monkey in the past 100 years,
So what you're telling me is you've never been to Florida.
Yeah. I think you're underestimating the people's monkey.
in all
fucking.
fairness, I didn't meet any hot monkeys when I was there. But
That's part of the Gator tour. Is you
Jack doesn't believe me. He's like, you seen some of these monkeys?
You didn't go to the right part of town.
That's right. There's
yeah, dude. How do you think Miami gets so many good football players?
Yeah.
They're like, come in. Now here's our whirlpool bath.
You go-
and here's our boosters club.
You go
and
to
Here's
Yeah,
all these
cage
monkeys you can fuck.
Look at these hot monkeys.
Jamie Foxx throws these parties to lure you in to come to his record agency. He's like, look it, these can all be yours. And she's like, like just sitting around a jacuzzi like, I can fuck any of these monkeys? Oh, yeah. Regular people don't get to fuck the monkeys. This is an Illuminati thing. You guys are lucky.
But the whole time everyone just thinks Jamie Foxx is gay, but he gets brought back into this room like, oh my god, Jamie Foxx is about to fuck me. This is the worst. And he closes the door. It's like, this is a chimp. Welcome to the Illuminati.
Don't piss her off. She will rip
The
your
Jamie
genitals
Foxx or
off.
gay
He's like
rumors
the
are just a
half
smoke
mask
screen.
on. Yeah.
It's just how he's like, look, man, just keep telling people I'm gay. That's a great way
That's
to
the
throw
best
people
way to get
off.
away with this.
I got my own zoo.
By 1973, she was participating in socialist marches. On February 4th, 1974, she read an article in the paper that would change her life. The story was about a group called the Symbionese Liberation Army and the kidnapping of newspaper heiress Patty Hearst. Famously, the group demanded that her father feed every poor person in the state of California, which would have cost $400 million. Since he didn't have that much, Mr. Randolph Hearst donated $2 million to a program called People in Need, PIN. Seeing it as her call to action, Sara Jane drove to the charity's warehouse headquarters in San Francisco, walked right into a planning meeting and announced, quote, God sent me to help.
I wish I had that kind of balls to walk into meetings like that I wasn't
Yeah.
invited to.
And just kick the door down and be like, I deserve a pilot.
You read my mind, huh? I got this thing I want to make.
You hear that Jean-Claude Van Damme story, like there where you know how that's the whole story how he broke.
He
Was
really busted into a
he went
meeting?
into one of the major producers' offices and just started doing kicks and was like, put me in movies. Started just doing crazy kicks, and the guy was like, yeah, you're in movies now.
I want to copy that exact thing, even though I don't know martial arts.
Well, here's the thing: is that's like one of the most famous stories of how someone made it in Hollywood. What they don't tell you is the 30,000 other stories that are why they don't list the addresses for agencies online.
It's true though. It's true. One of our friends got a directing gig and called someone directly, like called the talent directly for something. It was like, tell them to hire me to direct your thing, and then he got the job. He actually got the job, and then was warned by all the management and all this stuff, like, don't ever do that again. And he's like, sure, cool, but it's like he broke the rule, and he got the fucking job. He got the job from breaking the rule. This chick, she's got the balls. She walks into a fucking meeting and says, I'm your gal. I'm your gal.
God sent me to help.
Yeah, I mean, that does seem like if you wrote that on a sweatshirt nowadays.
God?
A thing that you say to a bunch of like weird hippies and revolutionaries in the 70s.
And you're just like, God sent me, and he's like, oh, there she is. Finally.
Oh, good. We were worried that God wasn't on our side.
Yeah.
Because that's what the government told us.
But then you with all those leaves in your hair came in here.
They just stared at her. When she didn't continue, they asked her to wait outside until they were done. By the
Shit did
end of the
kicks.
day,
She
she
stood
was
there for like 10
she
minutes
just
in
started-
silence.
Whoa, watch this.
She did the Van Damme thing where he like
Like
stretches
the
on the thing with his
splits, yeah.
legs splitting. She's like, I got a Volvo van on its way right now. It's gonna go right between us. It's gonna be crazy. That's a reference to a high viral video that.
By the end of the day, she was assigned bookkeeping duties. Now,
wow, that really worked out well for you.
well, she's an accountant. She has that skill set. That's what she came there for.
So even accountants have to like have a killer resume and have the balls to just walk into a meeting and be like, you want to see someone? You want to see a triple threat?
Well, to be fair, this was a poorly organized San Francisco charity. It wasn't like she walked into...
Okay, you made this seem like this is a corporate meeting with like a secretary that's like, you can't go in there.
Let me
and
put
she
a little
said,
historical
"Fuck you."
context here. This is adjacent to... So Symphony is the SLA, and the Patty Hearst story is one of the most famous stories in American, like in the 70s, in the history of the entire
Sure.
U.S.
Yeah.
It was the kidnapping of William Randolph Hearst's granddaughter.
Oh, yeah.
William Randolph Hearst, like the big newspaper magnate.
Yeah.
And this Patty Hearst story was one of the was huge. I mean, it was like the OJ story of the 1970s.
Yeah, because she
Ended up joining
joined
them.
and yeah,
it was a whole crazy thing.
Did she get Stockholm syndrome? Is that what she got, or did she just get convinced by their literature and she's like, you know what, my grandpa is a Nazi?
I actually
Let's
don't
take him
know
down.
why she flipped exactly.
Okay.
So our story right now is adjacent to this because when this story pops and her father won't spend $400 million to feed everybody in California because that's more than he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, impossible. He donates to this PIN charity and sets it up, and that's when our crazy lady is like, God has given me a message.
Right.
I need to do their books.
Yeah. Put your $2 million in Bitcoin. Trust me.
That actually would have been a really good investment.
That'd have been a great investment at the time.
Oh my God, I wish.
Remember when Bitcoin was like $2? Man.
Remember when crime never happened because Rich was invested in Bitcoin?
Oh yeah. You want to do a podcast? Like, nah, man, I'm on this.
Yeah,
yacht.
no,
I just
cool.
bought a mountain, like I was talking about. You know what I mean? Went on a snowboard and just hang out.
I'm just with my friend Dan Bilzerian taking pictures of me. And
Would you hang out with Dan Bilzerian?
At least one day.
He seems like he's
one-
a fun guy.
Wouldn't you do it? If someone said, "Hey, man, a day with Dan Bilzerian," you'd be like, "Yeah, fine."
I
totally.
almost had one. He
Really?
wanted to do an animated comedy show on his little platform.
Sure.
And he like invited me and Brandon Wardell to come down there.
Okay.
I had like another gig that day. I think Brandon went or didn't go. But I know he's still making comedy content, and he really, really wants to be a part of the Comedy Store.
Casting call, everybody.
There you go.
If you have any comedy stuff about guns or big tits, Dan Bilzerian is buying.
Well, what happens in the script or in the little treatment he sent? He said that he like did a whole bunch of drugs, a whole bunch of coke, fucked a whole bunch of women, and woke up and like forgot where his bitch was, and like had to run around with a hard dick from too much
Viagra.
Yeah.
And he's running around Vegas with a hard dick trying to find this girl.
That's hilarious.
With just a
I'm
hard dick
assuming-
and nothing else.
Nothing else. He has a hard dick
He's
and
got a
bubble,
good body.
and bubble gum to chew.
I honestly though, if you do have a hard on, you can always use the belt method and still get your day done.
That's
You
what
know
I'm saying.
You just
Yeah.
strap it up, tighten your belt, and look around. Look for your chick. Honey, you over there?
Yeah.
You know, you can point to her. Maybe your dick will fall out of the belt and point exactly to her, like when those guys look for water with that stick. But it was your dick pointing towards. There she is, Belladonna, right this way, ma'am.
But Sara Jane's socially awkward, prim, and proper ways stood in stark contrast to the style of 1970s college-age radicals. Penn was severely disorganized, partially because half the volunteers were members of rival gangs prone to breaking out in fights. Food distribution often devolved into full-on riots. Seeing a power vacuum and an opportunity, Sara Jane started randomly answering press questions. It was then that she decided to use her mother's maiden name. So Sara Jane Con Anderson Manning Alberg Carmel
Okay.
became Sara Jane Moore, self-appointed head of Penn Press Relations.
Wow.
She didn't make friends at Penn, save one, a multiple felon turned prison reform advocate named Wilbert Jackson, also known as Popeye.
With the spinach and everything, huh?
Yeah, that's who it was.
But his spinach is justice.
There you go.
Just a spinach.
Popeye taught Sara Jane to be paranoid of those around her, and with good reason. The FBI's counterintelligence program, also known as COINTELPRO, had agents infiltrating every radical group in the country, making it nearly impossible to know if the person next to you was a true believer or a federal operative. Lo and behold, in 1974, FBI agents approached Sara Jane, telling her to wait on a corner for a green car with a specific license plate.
Oh, fuck.
When they picked her up, they convinced her that the revolutionary groups were, quote, dupes of foreign governments of the KGB and the Red Chinese.
Is that partially true?
That was a lift line?
She's like, I should have just done Uber Black. This is so ghetto.
Just give me a little water.
Yeah.
No, so
I could have been in an Escalade. I'm in a freaking Corolla. Yeah, it's clean. But
starting with Hoover,
four other people in here going to their jobs.
starting with Hoover and the FBI, and all the way through Nixon. I mean, I guess 3 to 4, but like Nixon was a big part of it. There was a whole thing of like, if you were any sort of like counterculture type thing,
Yeah.
let's brand this as part of the like Soviets or some sort of communist plot or whatever. So there's of course the Red Scare in Hollywood, which was a big thing where if you had like a liberal point of view, they were like, "Hey, you're a communist."
If you're just at all liberal, that's so weird.
And then so they're doing the same thing with like during the civil rights movement. One of the big tactics they had were to discredit you, were to paint people either as communists or as violent people, or try to like paint you as morally. So like at one point the CIA, I can't remember if the CIA or the FBI, but they threatened Martin Luther King like, "Hey man, if you don't stop it, here's these pictures of you getting some," because Martin Luther King was always fucking.
I know,
So-
like a huge crime. The guy busted a few fucking nuts while he's fucking.
But that was their whole
moving
game
the world
plan.
forward. Like I can't get a fucking couple jobs going here. I can't cream a little.
Look, there's the most important American value is protecting the military-industrial complex. We all know this.
That's so weird.
Doesn't it suck how complex and smart that sounds compared to how it's done today?
Oh yeah.
Like, it's the same tactic, but it's just a guy being like, no. And that's the whole thing.
And just some guy tweets, "You're dumb."
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, he must be really dumb. Someone said it in 280 characters now.
It's fucking terrifying.
They convinced her that these groups, these revolution. Shut the fuck up, bro.
Sorry.
Jeez, that's I put in all this time.
Stop
and
hitting
I
the
come
table,
here,
Slaton. This is your
I'll
show.
I'll hit you.
This
ho.
is your show, and you're making a fool of us.
So they convinced her that these groups are all part of like foreign governments and the Red Chinese and stuff.
Which was that was just propaganda.
Just propaganda.
Okay, that's not true. Okay.
Yeah. Then they gave her a crash course in espionage during the car ride. Finally, her
You're gonna have a
assignment.
shoe. It's gonna have a phone on the bottom. That's about it.
Do I get anything else, like a code name or anything?
Sure.
What's my code name?
00 German chick.
Wow, I think that's gonna work. It really obfuscates the truth about me. So
Okay, you want something? You want a secret code name?
yeah, that's great. Okay, yeah, cool. I'm really excited about this. What's my code name?
All right, it's kind of a Native American. It's called "She Who Leaves Her Kids Behind Like a Fucking Jerk."
Wow, that's a little on the nose.
I love the idea of the guy sitting in the passenger seat just like, didn't you faint on the White House lawn?
He's like, I recognize
I
you.
remember you.
Are you my mom?
You have a folder inside your blouse with a bunch of pictures of yourself.
Finally, they gave her assignment to use Popeye to gain access to revolutionary groups and pass information to the FBI.
So they've convinced her that she's going to be doing good, and she believes them.
Yeah. She just wants to be a part of something.
So that's what I don't understand right now in the story. She actually wants to be part of this something, or she has some sort of scheme in mind, so she's just kind of using it as a cover. Because she's so far done ignoble things.
You're trying to find logic in a person who's just a Vine comic.
That is a really good. You always have good riffs on Vine comics. It's so funny because you've had the handful of them. I'm always like, he's spot on. Mwah, he got
Jak
the point
Knight's first
exactly.
album. What about those Vine comics?
Remember that? Huh?
Coming out
Look at
next
the
month.
Where are they now? They're just taking pictures. The shortest vines you've ever seen.
Before she left, she asked a question. How should I behave? They told her, just be yourself.
Okay.
God, that's bad. That was
Which was a terrible
worst
idea.
thing you could say.
That's like green light on something you didn't want to do.
That's like the perfect way of a hacky sitcom to go into the third act.
Just be yourself.
Just be yourself. And the whole table's on fire.
Very well.
But then it works. Like he goes, hey, we're going to go on this date. We're going to go see the World of Warcraft movie.
I love World of Warcraft.
Oh my God, this worked out perfectly.
But my wife won't let me go. Women, men, husbands and wives, family, sitcom, done, sold, 100 episodes. There you go. Go on with your story.
Sarah Jane already had a reputation at Penn for instability on account of her tendency to scream at people if they made uninvited conversation.
I love these fucking liberal activists that are awful to people in their personal life, and you're like, yeah, you're a fucking dick. Like one of the celebrities that are super like liberal, and it comes out that they just screamed at their assistant for 5 years. You're like, why didn't you like you follow the Buddhist fucking thing and just like, be good in the minuscule things? But she's a fucking bitch. But she's like, I'm gonna help out the world. I'm gonna be a fucking activist. But then it's like you're fucking blowing up at your fucking guy bringing you coffee. Am I right? Is it just me? You guys don't seem passionate about this. I gotta go.
I mostly throw phones at people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait till
fucking assholes.
I can't wait till I can get paid
Well,
to
this
do
is the
it.
perfect town for both of you.
Yes.
I'll be in the fucking hills.
I make every PA shave their legs in front of me.
Well, that's not so bad. Do you yell at them or do you ask them
Now,
nicely?
do you have them go straight razor or like can they use a
machete.
Ooh.
A machete.
Are these men or women?
machete
Only
and-
men.
and
Only
peanut
men.
butter?
Only men. Women's legs are usually shaved.
So
Yeah.
the men, and then you put them in spandex and you get them on a bicycle. I
And
like your style. Good. He's a good leader.
Jack's writer says, I don't want to hear the sound of air going through leg hair.
That's not why
it
they
takes me
shave
out of
their
my
legs.
center.
It's just ugh.
That's not why you shave your legs if you ride bikes.
Just a week.
Sexy.
So you can swim faster.
That's why I shave.
Because after you go on a long bike ride, you hit the fucking showers. You want to swim.
Just a week after her first FBI meeting, she found a group at Penn thumbing through a ledger on her desk, something they had to do since she had also refused to produce any financial reports.
Is she one of those bosses that doesn't do any actual work?
Oh, let's see.
Fucking Jeff Bezos.
She snatched.
Does he not do anything? He's worth $100 billion. You better work, Jeff.
She snatched the books, exclaiming, "No one touches my ledgers except me."
That's what Heath Ledger's girlfriend used to say. Too soon? Sorry about that.
She was promptly escorted out and told not to return.
And from her own job?
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
When another accountant went through the books, she was shocked to find piles of unpaid invoices and undeposited checks. So you were right. Sara Jane had been doing nothing.
Wait, the lady who came in with the will and power of God was stealing?
Not stealing, just not doing anything.
Oh, wow.
That's stealing. She's a time vampire.
She was just wearing pantsuits, shuffling papers.
Where'd these checks go?
Just they sat there. She just didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's like my Comedy Store checks.
Yeah,
They
they're just
sit there and I don't know.
And whenever we wonder, like, where's my check? And they always go, like, we're on it. Like, there was a Sara Jane in your office, isn't there? And you didn't even fill out the check yet. It's not in the mail.
But she still had a mission. So Sara Jane began to hang out with Popeye in San Francisco.
Oh, she's real persistent.
She quickly ingratiated herself to his crew, mostly because she brought cigarettes to give out.
Oh, yeah.
What type of cigarette so we can figure out what Popeye is?
Well, Popeye's a black dude.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you going to guess? I'm not going to guess the cigarettes because I'm respectful.
What makes you respectful for not making a guess?
Because he was going to use cigarettes to diagnose the race of the person.
Yes.
That was his whole
This
game.
is a comedy podcast. You're not actually a cop that's going to ruin someone's life.
I know. I'm a good person.
You're scaring me. I'm like, man, I think I've done a lot
I'm
of
a
this.
good person, and I won't tell you what kind of cigarettes deadbeat dads smoke, okay?
I'll tell you one thing. There's menthol in them, right?
No.
If you pop it.
If you pop it?
Yeah.
I
yeah,
pop
pop
it.
the little ball thing.
Was that a thing?
Yeah.
I never smoked
Cigarettes.
menthols.
Yeah.
Oh, strong move.
It sounds dangerous.
Cigarettes? Yeah, don't do that.
Just in general.
Popeye
Popping any
invited,
ball, though, just sounds like... I just don't recommend it to our listeners.
Popeye invited her to join his weekly socialist study group. Every Tuesday
Oh, that
night.
sounds like fun.
Dude,
Wow, boring.
that's a 70s party.
Yeah.
A 70s San Francisco, you're like, bro, I cannot wait for the weekend so I can go out there and study that Marxism.
Dude, that 70s show would have been so much better. Same cast, but that's where the theme, that's where it's set. It was in like Marxists and like socialists. That actually would have been really good.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of comedy where people are like, hey, did you guys read that wacky Mao's Little Red Book? Anybody?
There's a lot of comedy anywhere, Slate, if you look at it correctly. Go on with your story.
Every Tuesday night, she commuted 2 hours from her house in Danville to discuss the works of Karl Marx, Lenin, and Mao Zedong. She, like everyone, took notes, but hers focused on the people in the room. But as she sat there spying for the FBI, something began to change.
She got pregnant.
These... Probably, yeah, I feel like that should have been where this goes.
And that baby became Barack Obama.
Oh my God. I am so sorry for insulting your German mother, Mr.
She
President.
got pregnant, moved to Hawaii.
Is that how it happens?
Yeah,
Oh, I really believe. This is so crazy. I just believe.
You thought that
I thought she really
that
did.
she
Like,
really
this
was?
fucking bitch.
Someone else is gullible on this show, not just John. Thank you. Thank you, Jack.
My mother is a good mom, even though she left her last 5 children.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Willie Hunter, folks. It's
Look, I have
high
three. I
inside.
have 3 impressions. It's like Barack Obama, Alex Jones, and like another door guy at the Comedy Store.
I just have Dr. Phil and Darth Vader. Go on with your story.
But as she sat there spying for the FBI, something began to change. These people made sense. The deck was stacked against the little guy. And she was clearly a victim of capitalism, just like the poor, oppressed people around her.
Oh, man.
Still, she did her job. After 2 group sessions, she had her first meeting with her FBI handler. The next day...
That sounds sexy right there. FBI handler.
Ooh.
You know? She's
It's
a hot German woman, voluptuous.
FBI handler, name of her sex tape.
She's regular. She eats a lot of sauerkraut. FBI handler.
The next day, acting on an anonymous tip, over 400 law enforcement officers surrounded a suspected SLA safe house.
I got an anonymous tip right here.
It turned into a 2-hour gunfight, ending when the building caught on fire.
Whoa.
2 members of the SLA ran out, guns blazing, only to be shot dead.
Whoa.
4 more were
This is
found
in America? In Northern California?
This is in this was in Los Angeles. But yeah,
In Southern California?
that's what's up, dog.
This is right down the street.
Yeah. That's the old House of Blues. That's why it's gone now. 4 more were found inside, killed by multiple gunshots.
The Ticketmaster employees came out guns blazing.
At the same time, the house finally sold. So Sara Jane and her son moved to an apartment in San Francisco's Mission District. She loved it. The cafes, the good produce, the people, everything was exciting and free. She got a job at a mom and pop store, making just enough to cover rent and food. She was doing so well as an informant that the FBI upgraded her to a PSI, potential security informant.
Wow.
And her work now included the SFPD and the ATF.
Okay, that's a lot of acronyms. Did these guys not know that she's full of shit?
I mean, she's passing legit information.
But don't they worry that, like, you know, even though she did that happenstance, you know, she passed some legit information, she's full of shit, so at some point it's going to come tumbling down to them trusting her on stuff because she's full of shit, right? I mean, wouldn't they know that? They're pros.
Were you one of the kids that she left? You're
Yeah,
really,
man,
like,
you seem real tense about this.
This is really.
Well, I'm just saying.
Is he always this personal with the
Yeah,
stories?
this is how he takes every single one.
Hey,
He gets sad over people who died in like 1730 and shit.
Fuck you for
Isn't
not.
it so sad that someone died in 1730? I'm like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about someone who died in like
you're making me sad, but Jack,
I don't give a shit about
2017.
people dying today.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's
Well,
be
you're going to
real.
be successful in this world. If that's your feelings, you'll be fine. But seriously, guys. All right, go on with your story.
Everything
I won't let my emotions get
was
in the way.
finally going great
Oh, nice.
until July of 1974.
Of course.
When she started to feel bad about informing on her new friends. She invited one of them to her house and told him everything. They agreed not to tell on each other. So, of course, she went immediately and talked to her handlers, and unsurprisingly, word spread about her FBI involvement, and most of the groups she was trying to infiltrate froze her out.
Wait, because she talked to that guy on the couch, he let everyone know, like, she's working with your guy.
So they talk, and they're like, okay, you won't tell on me, right? Cool, you won't tell on me, and they both immediately go and tell on each
Snitched,
other.
yeah. Good.
Yeah, they 69 lied.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way I lie.
It's hard to
Since
lie when
no
your
one
mouth
was
is full.
inviting her in, she decided to force her way by hanging out at Errol Hendra's camera shop, a radical-friendly printing store, and the only place in the Bay that would agree to produce far-left propaganda.
I was just going to say, it's a printing shop, so they do a bunch of propaganda posters
Yeah.
with
Exactly.
fists on them.
Mostly fists.
Angry fists.
We do 2 things. We do revolutionary fists, and we do fisting. The 2 things we only produce fist-related content.
that sounds great.
Also, boxing promotion flyers. Is it fist-related? We sell gloves. What else do we got?
What else do we got? You need a hand massage. We can do that. Gloves? We already said gloves. Baseball mitts. We do those. We're a nail salon. We take care of your fingers, too. They're on the hand.
There, she would engage in regular political conversations with Hendra and Dan O'Neill, the creator of a popular political satire comic strip. Both men possessed a sarcastic wit, which they used to entertain themselves by riling up the strange lady who kept on showing.
Is this like the intro to your podcast?
I take that as a compliment because these people were called men. Aye. Thank you, Jack. You've come here to compliment us.
I kind of felt like a complidis.
He's a charmer. Some of our guests beat us down and really humble us. And then some of our guests.
I'm on
they
y'all
build us up.
side.
Shout out.
I'm on y'all side of history.
You're a real charmer, Jack.
This is
Thank
good.
you very
I like
much.
y'all.
Thank you.
One afternoon in the spring of 75, Sara Jane was on a rant about using violence to achieve change.
Oh, great. That's all we need.
When O'Neill made one of his normal teasing points for Hendra's benefit.
You gonna spank people, you bitch?
Quote,
Is that what he said?
yeah, that's the whole thing.
You change the world through spankings?
Quote, Hitler tried to kill everyone, proving that large-scale violence doesn't work, he said.
That was the joke?
Then lowered his voice and deadpanned. On the other hand, look at who's president now and who's vice president. If something happened to Ford, if somehow Rockefeller became president, all hell would break loose.
So under his
they're
breath.
they're like teasing the crazy chick,
Right.
basically, by saying crazy shit to her.
Right.
Okay, so they just got a wacky one in the group, and they're just riffing.
They're just
seeing if they
riffing
can
and
sing-
riling her up.
Right.
and like looking at the guy across the room that also knows that they're riling her up and saying,
Yeah.
"You see how she's."
So here's
confused."
here's how they write up. Hey, Hitler showed that large-scale violence doesn't work, but if something happened to Ford, then Rockefeller would become president, and all hell would break loose. So that's his like let's rile her up riff.
Mm-hmm.
As usual, Sara Jane did not get the joke. Then you agree with me. You see what I've been saying all along.
Like, no, I was fucking being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Fuck. Read some body language.
I don't think Barron Trump is completely autistic.
O'Neill tried to backpedal, but Sara Jane was adamant. All it would take to start the revolution was to expose the current government for the fraud it was. This is important because the Nixon administration had just collapsed under the weight of the Watergate scandal, making Gerald Ford quickly move from congressman to vice president to commander-in-chief.
Jeez.
As his VP...
Like if we got Paul Ryan right now.
Yeah, kind of.
That would be terrifying.
As his VP, the unelected president nominated New York governor and billionaire Nelson A. Rockefeller, who was completely out of touch with regular people.
Yeah.
Rockefeller once stated as a fact that the average household income was $100,000. When at the time it was actually around
$10,000.
Yeah, about $10,000.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
year.
You're just out of touch. It's like, trust me, my butler told me.
The price of milk, it must be 5 cents, obviously.
God, that's hilarious. That's great. They're running the world. That's great.
You can't get to your job? I mean, what is your driver doing today?
You don't need socialized medicine. You just go to the doctor. Pay for it however you need. Use a credit card. I have one. Just use your family
You're
card.
tired? Take a nap or a vacation. Whatever.
Right. You're making at least $1 million a week at your job at McDonald's, right? Stop bothering me. I have tea time.
On June 9th, 1975,
I'm going to go murder a hooker.
Sarah Jane's life...
The only way I can come. I'm very rich, you see.
Sarah Jane's life suddenly became much more complicated.
How?
That morning at 3 a.m., Popeye was assassinated in his car in front of his apartment.
Holy fuck.
Normally, the paranoid ex-con would have noticed a gunman approaching his vehicle, but he wasn't the only one in the car. Cops found his body leaning back in the driver's seat with the head of a female victim in his lap.
Woo!
Wait, she was sucking his dick and they both got
And
killed?
he died getting his dick sucked.
All right.
Like a fucking revolutionary.
Yep. That's a real leader.
Holy shit.
Woo, and he had one fist up. He's like, I'm going to come! Yeah, oh, man.
That's actually where the fist comes from. That's just like, that was his coming move. He's like, oh, it's gonna happen.
God.
Yeah, this is actually the second time someone has died during a blowjob in one of our stories.
I'm about to say, that's actually the end of my spec script.
What's your favorite sexual way that you would die? I mean, you could say blowjob since we just did that, but is there any other?
No, blowjob. Getting
Blowjob?
shot by people, yeah.
You like a good head? Okay.
Blowjob from the person's mother who's shooting me.
Ooh, that's fun. Why the mom specifically?
That's it's a very kinky fantasy
So
now.
you want to see some titties as you're getting shot?
I just wanted to be like, yeah, good.
All right.
What about you?
You were inside of her, now she's...
I was inside her, now I'm dying. I'm just glad I got to see you first. Peace.
All right, I want to know what the Vegas odds would be on what are the odds? 35 million to 1 on Jak Knight actually dying by getting shot by a mom during a blowjob?
I don't want to bet on somebody dying.
I'll bet on it right now.
You and this dying thing,
Yeah,
man.
seriously, you have a real
People
hang up.
die.
People do die, but you don't
All
want
the
to bet
time.
on people dying. It's almost like it's like a hedge fund that you're hoping goes bad. So you can,
Yeah,
But he's about to win money.
yeah, totally.
Don't you want your friend to have money?
It's a good point.
he can get money the honest way by making a good podcast
What else
and
will
having a
help me
Patreon,
feel-
not
what-
by watching someone die.
He
What else will
wasn't
help me-
there.
Huh?
He wasn't there. He's just betting on it.
Yeah.
He's probably doing the podcast at the time.
That's a good point.
How
All
am I
right.
supposed to cope with Jak Knight's blowjob death without millions of dollars?
I want to know how you would die, Slaton, if you during your sex. Well, your wife wears a strap on and is pegging you, and right after you go.
Just the worst perforated colon of all time.
Whoa! I didn't say anything was going to have to happen and get damaged by it. I'm just saying.
Well, how do you die from?
I'm talking about a bullet.
Oh, the strap-on
wound.
isn't
A
what
sniper-
kills me.
A sniper takes you out. In all these scenarios, some sniper is going to take you out. I'm just saying. You
Well,
know.
in my head, she has another dildo that she's like choking him out with.
Oh, so he dies through that.
Double
All right.
dilled.
So we're just talking about just getting murdered during sex. We're not even just saying an assassin.
Well, now I'm on the assassination thing. Okay, here's how I want it to happen. I'm on the airplane. It's a long flight. It's international.
Oh, yeah.
I decided to go beat off in the bathroom.
It's by
because
yourself?
it's taking so long.
It's a
next thing you know,
masturbation tactic.
next thing you know, Russians go, we got to take this guy out. He's made too many jokes about our criminals. Bam, 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 fire through the door, and that's it.
Oh, dude, 5 through the door, and then a 6th one.
I joined like a 2-part Mile High Club. I come and die.
Oh my god.
And so since it's not a real Mile High because I'm not fucking, the death and the jacking off equal 1 Mile High Club. And finally, I matter.
there's got to be a code for jacking off in an airplane. But, Mile High seems good. Like there's got to be something that's kind of like not as cool, but you had to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a piss. That's the code for I'm gonna go jack off in the bathroom at the airport. Isn't that not you guys?
I can't. I'm too tall.
To jack off in an airplane?
Yeah, my neck is like crook.
You need
Well,
to.
how tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Oh, you are taller than me.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the perfect jack off in the bathroom height.
Yeah, you're right there where your head's not crooked. You just can perfectly
Where I
sit there
can
and
lean
let
it against the
yeah.
back if I need to feel like someone's touching me. I can like use the back of the door.
Like the idea of like your sperm, which can one day be a child, going in that tube to go.
Yeah.
It's just that sounds wonderful.
It's like
Yeah.
the world's
That's
most
like the-
vacuumous pussy
Yeah, yeah.
ever. Yeah, you try to get your dick into that.
Yeah.
Like,
At least those sperms have fun on their way out.
I know, right? They're just like skydiving for the rest of their eternity.
Yeah.
Does the stuff really come out of the plane while it's flying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
That's what rain is.
Yeah. It's mostly airplane cum.
But seriously though, the stuff comes out while they're flying?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Like they just
Airplane
release
cum,
it? They just
comes
release
down, and that's how sunflowers are.
That's what chemtrails are.
That's one of those weird facts.
I knew it. The government's trying to control us.
Making gay frogs.
The FBI guys are so stressed out and so busy on their cases for months at a time, they don't get a chance to come. So they
Right.
put them all on these large airplanes and they just fly them around in the atmosphere and they all jack off simultaneously and
Yes.
just blow it out the windows.
Yes.
Like a gunner of one of those gunships.
Sleet.
Oh, sleep.
I can't wait until one day one of our listeners makes one of our listeners will one day make a cum supercut of how many times that word's been used, cum or jizz or whatever's been used on this show.
Oh, let me add a couple for you just so you get some good outtakes there. Come.
It's going to run like 7 or 8 minutes at least, just on that 3-letter word.
Yeah, you just want to give them some inserts. Come.
Sarah Jane decided it was time to go public, giving a tell-all interview to a local paper.
About the FBI stuff that she's supposed to... Oh, Sarah Jane,
She's a snitch. I don't like her anymore.
The day it was published,
This was my line.
she's about to get stitches.
she began to receive anonymous hate calls. Fearing for her safety, she bought a 44 caliber revolver. She moved to a new apartment across the bay in Berkeley. She even had her son start using a fake name.
What was it?
I don't know. They were alive. I just don't know what that is. They were alive, but the stress was taking its toll. Her eating had taken her from a size 8 to a size 12 in just 3 months.
Double thick. How many seeds?
When things calmed down, yeah, now
She invented the term
She's
pop.
triple C thick now.
This is the woody that we were telling you about. This is where the term comes from.
When things calmed down, she tried to get back into the movement, but everyone avoided her like the plague.
Yeah, of course.
With no one to talk to, she called her handler at the SFPD to complain about harassment of the left.
So now she's just lonely.
Yeah, she's just like, okay, just someone talk to me about something. Let me complain at you.
How's she paying her bills acting like this?
I mean, probably with the proceeds of the sale of her Danville home is what I'm guessing.
Okay.
That and she's still working at the mom and pop store.
Okay.
Like, it's a linoleum sales company.
And is the FBI giving you any money?
I don't know if they're paying her at all.
Okay.
They said they do. I think they give you
Yeah.
cash.
Oh, yeah. I guess she is getting paid because she had like a designation and everything.
They gotta have a purse for that. Yeah.
Then she told the officer that she was headed to Stanford to test the security.
What's that mean? Said the officer.
A bunch of light bulbs went off in his head. Sarah Jane was part of a sting operation to set up a radical accused of illegally selling guns. And as part of that scheme, she had recently purchased that 44 caliber pistol.
Oh, so he's stoked. She's actually doing her job with them.
But even more important, President Gerald Ford was scheduled to speak the next day at Stanford. So this dude hears her say, I'm gonna go check the security at Stanford. He's like, this kind of
it's not
crazy
a good-
bitch
it's not a good time.
has a gun.
Okay.
And the president's gonna be there tomorrow.
This isn't a good time for that lady.
Yeah. Taking no chances, the handler had 2 officers dispatched to her house where she was arrested with the unregistered 44 and 11 cartridges in her purse. They held her until 4 p.m. when the president was already speaking 35 miles away and let her go home.
This is her crime, an unregistered gun. Was she T.I.?
Yeah, this is her whole crime. You're right. Yeah, she did.
This episode fucking sucks.
She's going after that paper trail, dude.
Sorry, Jack. I thought there was gonna be some real
And then
crime.
she cut an album.
She got a parking ticket.
Yeah.
And the end. Thanks for listening, guys.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. She
She
actually
then cuts an album that starts with, "You have a collect call from Sara Jane, an inmate at the SF County Jail." That night, she called the handler again. Quote, "You did that to keep me away from Stanford." Later that evening, the Secret Service picked her up again for an interview, but determined she wasn't dangerous and let her go. On the morning of September 22nd, Sarah Jane made several calls. First, to her
ordered a
contact
pizza.
at the Secret Service, but he was out. The same happened when she tried to call her man at the FBI, then again at the SFPD. So she placed one more call to the gun dealer. That afternoon,
It's almost like booty calls. She's like, I guess I'll just call him.
who's left?
She's just gonna talk to anyone that'll listen. You up? With a gun sign?
That afternoon, she joined a crowd of protesters outside the St. Francis Hotel, where President Ford was preparing to leave.
Oh, fuck.
When a reporter asked why she was there, she simply replied,
For this! And she pulled the
Secret
gun out.
Service visited my house yesterday.
That's what she said. Mm-hmm. That's why she's here?
Yeah.
This chick is crazy. Does she work at a lead factory? She's fucking nuts.
At 3:38 p.m., President Ford exited the hotel by the side entrance. He paused for a moment. That's when Sara Jane Moore raised her gun, lined up his forehead between her sights, and fired.
Holy scheisse.
But the bullet ricocheted off the wall behind the president.
Oh, ficht.
She tried to take another shot.
Yeah?
But an ex-Marine in the crowd grabbed her arm, sending it wild.
Whoa.
Within seconds, Ford was speeding away on the floor of his car as cops and Secret Service descended on the middle-aged suburban mom.
Jesus, she just tried to fucking assassinate the president.
Yeah, y'all didn't see that shit coming, did you?
Well, I kind of did for a little bit when you had her arrested that first time, but still,
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know where it was going.
Pretty great drop.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
Thought she was just getting paper trailed here.
No, she did some shit.
She did some shit.
She's crazy AF.
At her interrogation, she gave a rambling account of her last 2 days. Then she demonstrated her shooting technique, followed by saying, quote, "In another minute, if the president had not come, I would have had to leave to pick up my boy."
She's fucking crazy, dude.
but responsible.
That's what's up.
I gotta say, she has learned some parenting skills.
Yeah, it took 6 times the charm.
That's right. And sometimes it takes a few kids to learn
Yeah.
how to pick your kid up from soccer practice. I'll
Not,
tell you.
not my goofy one. We put that one away in a place. I'm talking about
I
my good
forgot
one.
about Corky.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, this lady's nuts and a bitch and nuts.
She followed that by telling them that she would have succeeded with her 44.
I would have succeeded if it wasn't for you pesky agents.
As it turns out, she was right. The sights on her 38 were misaligned, putting the shot 6 inches off target at that distance, the exact amount by which she missed the president's head.
Folks, this is why you always take your weapons to the proper gunsmith and have everything checked over and aligned properly.
Interesting.
Shouts out to her aim, though.
Yeah.
That's
no,
great. She's great.
she can shoot.
Yeah.
And so she's pissed off. She's like, fucking this. So here's what happened, actually. That gun had belonged to a police officer who sold it because, who kind of junk sold it because the sights were off. But then the gun dealer he sold it to didn't realign the sights. And so just on the fact that someone, if she hadn't called the day before and been like, hey, I'm going to go test the security, and that guy hadn't confiscated her 44, Gerald
Right.
Ford's dead. Straight up, the blood all over San Francisco. Wow. Yeah.
I don't
Or
know
if
a
she
lot
just
of-
didn't get this many fucking chances as a white woman.
Right.
Oh, you think if she was black, she'd never have got this?
If she was Chinese.
That's true. Anything other than a white woman?
If she was a white man, she
You're-
wouldn't have gotten this many chances.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
crazy.
Fucking women. Am I right, guys? Hashtag. Woo!
She was booked and arraigned that very day. She requested a public defender, but then refused to answer any of his questions. When he asked why she did it, her only answer was, "It's complicated."
Oh, she is such a chick. Did they check her? They're like, do you have your period right now? Because you're really being hard to answer some questions.
The court ordered a full psychological evaluation. Every doctor gave her a different diagnosis, from hysterical personality disorder to borderline to bipolar.
They all wrote hashtag cray on her charts.
One described her as a blank slate who would periodically adopt a role, playing it until she felt like moving on to the next.
That sounds right. That sounds like that doctor might have understood some shit about this lady.
At her arraignment, Sara Jane pled not guilty, even though there was 100 witnesses and TV
course.
cameras.
Right, right.
Her attorney tried to get her to plead insanity, but she refused.
What?
So he tried to file the insanity plea anyway. She was so angry that she changed her plea to guilty.
So she wanted to be punished?
Well,
Typical
hold on.
German chick wants a spanking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The judge was shocked, informing her that an insanity plea didn't mean she was crazy, but that maybe she just wasn't all there when she committed the act. She responded by reading a prepared statement where she declared herself sane, that she fired the shots on purpose, and that she refused to participate in, quote, what promises to be a circus though called a trial. She finished by restating her guilty plea. The judge refused. Over the next 3 months, literally everyone involved tried to get her to plead not guilty so there could be an actual trial.
Wait, why would she have to plead not guilty so there could be an actual trial?
Because when you plead guilty, you just skip a trial and go to sentencing.
Why wouldn't they just do that?
Why wouldn't they try to get her to plead that? She's
there are a
crazy and
couple
trying
reasons.
to kill people.
On the defense side, obviously, you want your defendant to plead not guilty so that hopefully you can get. So they weren't making a deal with the guilty plea. It wasn't like they negotiated and get, okay, she'll plead guilty to this. She was just straight up being like, yeah, I plead guilty. Fuck you. So her defense attorney is like, no, wait. Let's plead not guilty, and then maybe we can make a deal or get you downgraded to a lesser charge.
But isn't the defense attorney also worried that they're going to get this crazy person out there on the streets instead of having them locked up away
Didn't
from the
she
rest of
just
us?
shoot at the president?
Yeah, I was
She's
gonna say,
gonna,
like,
she's gonna go to jail. She's definitely gonna go to jail, but the question is for what specifically?
Okay.
And so then the prosecution side wants her to plead not guilty because they want to have a trial. They don't want to just like go like be done with it.
Why? They're bored? They want to flex their muscles?
No, because someone, a revolutionary. Look, you're in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Everything's conspiratorial. Everything's crazy. You just dealt with Nixon.
Okay.
Right? COINTELPRO is a big thing. So they want to have a trial and have it be like, let's publicly go through this shit so no one can claim conspiracy bullshit, so we can actually air everything out, so we can show the justice system working properly.
Papa Slaton,
all that
good
different
explanation.
stuff.
Good explanation, Papa
So
Slaton.
the judge is telling her to plead not guilty. Even the prosecution's like, bitch, plead not guilty. What are you doing?
Right.
Like, even everyone's really crazy. And here's a big note. It was possible, if not likely, that she would only be convicted of assault and given 10 years if she'd pled not guilty.
How'd Mr. Ford feel about this? I'd be like, could you just please lock her up for like 30
Well,
years
they
until
are
I'm
all
dead?
like, she's kind of a crazy chick. So they're all kind of like, maybe this is just a nutball.
But so
I'm still scared of a nutball.
Yeah.
If you shoot a bullet at me, I'm not like, oh, that was from a nutball? Oh, okay, it's cool.
that was a goof.
Yeah, you know who set my house on fire? Turns out it was just a nutball. She's been doing it every weekend. I'd be like, I don't care what she is.
You know, I think it is the same reason why she had like 4 different husbands. It's because of that pussy. She just throwing that
She
thing
laid it
around.
down on everybody.
Yeah.
P-U-S-S. Why not, motherfucker?
So they tried to convince her to plead not guilty, but she would not take no for an answer. They finally threw up their hands and let her have her way, and she was sentenced to life in prison. After a year inside, Sara Jane realized that prison sucks.
And so she got a new kid.
Yeah, one of the guards. She left him, though.
So she petitioned to have her guilty plea thrown out for an actual trial. The motion went before the same judge as before, who had no time for her bullshit. Motion denied.
Of course.
So another note here is like from the moment she goes into prison, she is organizing protests inside prison, going on like hunger strikes. And at one point, when she found out that men had more access to the prison library than women, she sat down and refused to move.
Well, I mean, I can.
So they threw her in isolation. So she kind of tried to lead all these revolutionary movements inside prison.
But she's a charlatan. Like, she doesn't care about
But
the
most of their
movements
prisoners
themselves.
fucking hated her. Most
Yeah.
of them are like, "You're just an ass."
She's what we call a charlatan. She's someone that like gets involved in these causes. So you're like, this is a very noble cause, but you find out like it's all just for her own entertainment and to kill time. She's insane. She doesn't care about the fucking movement.
In 1977, Sara Jane was transferred to a new prison back home in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
She finally saw her kids.
The feds had just opened a new maximum security wing for high-risk women prisoners all across the country.
It's new. It's fresh. The tiles are still clean.
She was a founding guest along with 7 members of the American Nazi Party, several members of the SLA, and Squeaky Fromme, who had coincidentally tried to kill Ford 2 weeks before Sara Jane.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And her name's Squeaky Foam?
Squeaky Fromme was a follower of Charles Manson who had just been put in jail for the murders.
Why do I feel like Squeaky Foam looks like Wanda Sykes, but like in the 50s? Squeaky Foam, look out!
I could get that.
Right?
Because Wanda has a squeaky voice.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, Squeaky Foam?
So Squeaky was a Charles. Like,
what are you in for?
First of all, Squeaky was a Charles Manson follower, so definitely white.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but Charles Manson goes in, and Squeaky at the Capitol in Sacramento in the park had like waved a pistol in the air at Gerald Ford before she was tackled. Wow. So yeah, they're all in this prison together.
I'm one of Charlie's angels. Squeaky.
Sara Jane settled in for the long haul,
You wanna trade
but
some
lamented
ramen?
in letters that she didn't know anybody nearby and wanted visitors. What she didn't mention was that her middle child, now a 24-year-old girl she abandoned at the age of 3, had tried to visit, but Sara Jane refused, telling prison guards that she didn't have a daughter. Oh, wow. So by the way,
Jesus.
she put these kids on a plane across the country when they were 4, 3, and 9 months old.
Yeah, they want some answers, and they fucking deserve them.
They didn't even hear of her until her face is in the news for trying to shoot the president 20 years later.
Wow.
That's fucking bananas.
What a way to find out, huh? You don't need a Maury Povich episode for that one. Am I right?
On February 9th, 1979, Sara Jane and another inmate showed up missing at bed count. They'd hopped a fence and hitched a ride to town before being caught 4 hours later.
They hopped a fence at a maximum security. The 70s blew. What the fuck? They just hopped a fence?
Yeah, it's a little too easy.
It was a 12-foot barbed wire fence. But Sara Jane later gave an interview
That's
being like,
maximum?
I mean, 1970s maximum.
What was the other place? Just a playpen?
Minimum just didn't have a fence. Like, don't go over there.
Yeah.
So you were sentenced,
okay.
you were sentenced to 35 years at the San Quentin ball pit.
Now we don't have any locks. We have an honor system.
Warden, it's my turn for the slide. Sara Jane, another inmate.
Like a McDonald's ball
Yeah,
pit. You fucking...
Back inside, she went on a 3-month hunger strike, then requested a transfer to California,
She's just trying to diet. She's a chick. Just
where
trying to
she
lose a couple
eventually
pounds.
claimed that she was Jewish.
Who doesn't? Am I right? We all eventually claim that.
and began attending Friday night services and became a cook in the new kosher kitchen.
Oh my God.
She fought for prison Jew rights, and the other Jews thought she was really just annoying.
All 2 other Jews were like, "Oi."
So this prison in particular
Was for Jews?
it held like most of the Jews who had Orthodox or like needed some sort of thing to take care of them in California were at this particular prison because this was the one place where they had established a kosher kitchen and had a rabbi on call.
How many Jews were in this prison?
I mean, 4.
That's what
all
I'm saying.
All for white collar crimes.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, I guess there were a lot of Jews.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I always wondered if I went to prison, I was like, who would I hang out with? Because there's not really, you watch the movies, you never see a Jew group in prison. Like, when everyone's going to the different tables, and you got like the Mexican guys, the black guys, and the Peckerwoods, and then like there's never a table of guys like, hey, come over here.
I feel like I go Asian.
You think you could go Asian?
I think that'd be
fit
right.
in at all.
If I'm in a gang in somewhere in prison,
I don't think you can just
Okay,
go
you know what?
hang
You
out
have
with
to
Asian
speak
people.
their language.
that's a good point. See, here's the problem: is because if I go in prison, I look super white supremacist-y.
Right.
But if they go online, there's so much Jew record of me on the internet that all it would take is like, hey, let's just Google that new Nazi we recruited.
Right.
And next thing you know, they're like, oh boy, I have bad news for
But
you
I
guys.
think you could play it off though. With your look, you could say like, fellas, like what's some white supremacist guy's name? Jim and
Yeah, Jim's
Randall.
a good one.
Randall, Jim. I learned after getting into jail here that I'm not Jewish. Thank God.
Finally.
I'm part of the Nazi party, guys. But me, where would I go?
Look at my huge foreskin that I've made out of bologna.
Who would I? Dude, plenty of Nazi dudes are circumcised. Trust me.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is,
you've done your studies?
Where would I hang out? I don't look like you look
Yeah,
like.
but you have tattoos though.
So they'd be like, obviously he's not
Yeah.
a practicing Jew.
Or
Definitely not.
Or just be a loner. Why do you guys need friends so bad?
I think you don't
Do
want
you
to get.
even know prison rules, man?
Have you ever seen Shawshank? You gotta hang out.
Just be the guy in prison with no friends who
Yeah.
who no one takes advantage of or fucks or steals
Nah.
his pudding.
Yeah, you gotta be like a genius to get away with that. Where they're like, they come to you for oracle advice or something like that, or you have a pet rat where they're like, he's just weird. keep
He's
him-
weird.
Otherwise, I feel like I'd start to get lonely, and then I'd want to make friends. Also, I end up riffing with people even when they want to kill me. So that would get me into things. I'd need a group to just feel comfortable. Like, hey, who's gonna spot me on the bench? Who wants to talk about politics and society?
Who wants to give each other massages so we don't feel so alone?
I would give people massages. Actually, that I could do in prison. I could give tattoos. I would massage, and I'd probably
You might be become the prison tattoo guy.
yeah. I would love that. I would love to tattoo people.
No one beats
Have you
up the
guys-
prison tattoo guy.
Have you
sure?
guys seen Shefsky? Have you guys seen John Shefsky's teardrops? I mean, they are works of art.
And his app is great.
I would do some fucking great tattoos in prison, but that I would probably also. I'd get a little bored, and it hurts your back to tattoo. So
That's a good point.
I don't think I'd need to go to prison.
When President Ford passed away in 2006, Sara Jane
Dude,
finally...
he lived that long?
Oh, he was like 90-something.
Wow, it really does pay to be part of the Illuminati.
Sarah Jane finally expressed remorse for her attempt on his life. The following year, 77-year-old Sara Jane Con Moore Anderson Manning Alberg Carmel
Oh, Jesus.
was released from prison, and she is still out on parole today.
Oh, wow. She might even be a listener.
Yeah,
Well,
hopefully.
Well, I just want to take back all the mean stuff I said.
Yeah, you're a great mom.
you're a great mom.
and totally not. You're not bullshit with that movement though, girl. Too.
Yeah, you're an
Nah,
asset.
fuck you. I'm 12:30 at the Comedy Store tonight. Pull up.
That's Jak Knight. You can visit him at what's your Twitter handle? Pull up. Oh, dude. But she might. That's the thing. It's in Southern California too. All right.
That's the story of Sara Jane Moore.
Sarah
Yeah.
Jane Moore. She was
That's
insane.
insane. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I liked that. I took you guys on a journey.
That was actually a very, very good story.
You're just waiting there. You're like, what crime? This is. She's a bitch, but what's her crime?
Right.
That's
I
some of
thought
my-
she was gonna kill a political activist leader. I thought it was gonna go the
Like for the
opposite way.
FBI, like she's gonna get into some shit.
I thought it was gonna go the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
You like that happy ending, don't you?
Yeah, I feel good.
That's with it.
I don't know how she got out on life, but sure.
She did 35 years. I mean, I read the reasoning why. Like, there's something about a certain amount of time served for a life, blah blah blah, versus age. But the other big thing was they were going to keep her in prison basically until Ford passed away. And so she was just sitting there going like, fuck, this guy's 93? What the fuck are you eating? Can someone get this guy a steak or a cigarette?
I don't
Like
think
anything?
steak kills him if he's not eating too many carbs. That's keto. He'll be fine. What she needs to do is get him some donuts, get him a lot of stuff with processed sugar, get him Hostess.
Oh, so now you want to kill somebody?
No. I'm just saying if you wanted to make someone unhealthy, that's what you want to get. Processed
Today's
food.
story is sourced from a book called Taking Aim at the President by Jerry Spieler, S-P-I-E-L-E-R, who actually corresponded with Sara Jane via mail from basically when it happened all the way through when she was released to write this book.
Thank you for doing that, sir.
And of course, the evil robots at
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. I think Jerry's a woman, by the way. Geri.
You
But you know what?
These days,
misgender her, whatever. You do what you do.
Yeah,
Jerry's a Z. And I think that the way you're approaching it is offensive. Like everything you do on this podcast. Talking about all this cum and stuff. Jeez.
Just come offensive. We were made of it.
Come.
Speaking of cum,
Come.
Jack, where can people find you on the internet?
Where can they come to see you?
Come on down to, I don't know, go watch Big Mouth. I'll be on that.
Watch
Go
Big Mouth
watch
on Netflix.
Watch Big Mouth on Netflix.
Where should they follow you on the interwebs?
On Twitter, it's Jak Knight, no C, and then Instagram, Jak Knight, JAK123. And other than that, I'm around, dog. You'll see me.
You guys can follow the show on all the socials at CRiiiMEPod, CRiiiMEPOD, on Instagram and Twitters. You can also email the show, crimepodcast@gmail.com with 1 I or 3. Send us any story requests you have, any ideas questions you have for us, dick pics, label those for Shefsky. Whatever you're into, send us that way.
High res.
And again, we forgot to say at the top of the show, but we'll say it again right now. Saturday, March 17th, 10:30 p.m. in the Belly Room of the Comedy Store, CRiiiME is making its live debut for you. So for the first 20 listeners who write in, email us, whatever, we will set aside 2 tickets for you as our guests to come see the first live CRiiiME show.
Oh my God, guys, we're so freaking excited.
Fucking pumped for this.
So excited.
We have our guest Jeremiah Watkins, who you've heard on the first episode, and he's been on the show a couple times already. You love him; he's fantastic. So we'll be having the link for that up on the Comedy Store website. We'll put that up on our Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Please, please, please come out. We're so super stoked for it. Also, you can come see Shefsky and I do stand-up all the time. We ran into Jacqueline the other night at the Comedy Store, where I go up fairly regularly. You can see me if you want on. I'm headlining in San Diego at Madhouse Comedy Club on the Valentine's Day show. So if you want to come see me, I'm in San Diego on Valentine's Day at the Madhouse Comedy Club. But of course, the big thing, Saturday, March 17th. Come get that shit.
See,
CRiiiME live. Are we gonna say live on the show? We have to plan that whole thing out, bro.
Dude, we have a lot of planning.
We have a lot of stuff to do.
You got to pick your best purple shirt.
Yeah, I will be purpling it the fuck up, son.
You guys, and if you can, just go on there and click share on your iTunes
yeah, that
or whatever.
too.
Send it to somebody that you think would like the show.
That 5-star rating review on iTunes helps out a ton.
Oh my gosh.
But big thing, tell your friends. Tell your friends, because just so you know, now that we're doing that first live show here in March, we might be taking this show on the road this year, depending on where you are.
I'm going to pack my sleeping bag coming
We're
on the road.
packing one sleeping bag. It's going to be really fun.
Well, you got to stay warm. It's a cold year,
super
right?
excited,
You got to
man.
stay warm.
Yeah, with all that big nor'easter coming in.
Oh, I love it. Guys, then thank you for the high reviews, the 5 stars. We got one from Ichupina, Echupina. It says 5 stars, hilarious. Thank you so much. Echupina. It sounds like a weird disease that you have, like when you have a weird penis thing.
You're our favorite criminals.
Like a Latin described disease, like, oh, Echupina.
Bye, robot.
No bien.
I'm going to go pee.
Bye, guys. Do it in the bathroom, feller.
Dude, that was a fucking fun episode.
Really fun.
Shut up, Slaton.
You got hot as hell, but that was a crazy story.
Yeah, usually